I've made more money than I've ever made in my life in the last 2 years, and I will tell you right now, that money has not made me any happier. Now, I want to caveat this video with, I'm fully aware that some people are probably watching this and are probably like, cool bro, money doesn't make you happy, shut up, let me find out myself. Like, I'm fully aware of that. I'm making this video really just to, as you embark on the journey to making more money, provide you with some important, I think, notes that I wish I had when I first started, when it comes to where you prioritize your time from a where you think fulfillment will come from perspective, okay? My name's Gavin, I run an email SMS marketing agency, and I make these videos really just to document my own journey and share tips and tricks. And in this case, I think this is a pretty pertinent video for those who are in the agency space, because this is heavily tied into the hustle culture bro space that I think actually promotes things that actively detrimental to people's mental health, especially men's mental health, because I think so many of us tie our sense of self-worth directly to how much money we make, only to find out down the road that that is not actually what really is important, or truly what makes, in my opinion, a valuable man who is worthy of respect. And I know I feel like I'm kind of gradually going into like the red pill space, but I'm not. I wish I had known these things that I'm gonna talk about now when I first started my agency. So on that note, on the note of having made more money than I've ever made, I wanna talk about what money actually has done for me and done for my life in general. So one of the biggest things is it's freed me from a lot of worry. I'm no longer worried about financial insecurity. I'm no longer worried about being able to afford groceries or whether or not I can, go on a nice dinner or how I'm gonna split the check. Having a lot of money has freed me of that sense of anxiety, okay? It's also allowed me to speak with a level of confidence that I didn't think I had before. Now, in saying that, I do think that that is probably not a great thing, in that my confidence is tied to my bank balance, but it is a reality that I just have and probably something that I'd like to work out of eventually. But it does allow me to have just like a level of comfortability and a lack of insecurity when I'm engaging in certain conversations with other people. Another thing that it has done, it has also given me more respect from my peers, which once again, I don't necessarily think is something that we should put credence into, like how much money you have. I think really the things that should be valued from a respect perspective is, how you treat other people, your sense of self-worth, your discipline, your compassion, and your kindness. But the reality is that's not really how the world is built for the spaces that we in the agency space tend to occupy, which is the hustle culture space. And so while I don't necessarily put credence in that sort of stuff, I know other people do, and as a result, it has allowed me to be seen with a higher level of authority. So yeah, I think I'm just taken more seriously when I'm engaging in certain conversations from a business perspective with a lot of people. So it's freed me from worry. It's made me speak with a little bit more pride in myself and speak with a little bit more authority and get more respect. It's also, just to be fully transparent, it's made dating easier. Not because I actively disclose on dates how much I make, but it allows me to go on nicer dates and do things for people in a more respectful way. Just as simple things like being able to, pay for someone's Uber to pick them up from their house, go to dinner, go for a nice meal, pick up the bill, and then pay for an Uber to drop them off. When I was younger, I just couldn't afford to do that. I couldn't afford to go to nice restaurants, couldn't afford to do nice things, and having money has allowed me to do that. Another thing as well is it's allowed me to get a little doggy. See this? It's allowed me to provide a really good life for my dog, which is really nice, free of worry. Highly recommend anybody who's watching this to get a dog. It's allowed me to provide for her in a very nice way and get her nice things, but it's essentially allowed me to be more comfortable. That's really a big thing. I think money unlocks comfort. It doesn't necessarily unlock happiness, but it also unlocks comfort and choice. So I'm able to travel a lot more, choose where I want to work from, and also unlock opportunities that I normally wouldn't be able to unlock. For example, going to conferences, going to events, getting access into investment funds and that sort of stuff. It allows me to do those things, but that isn't what makes me happy. The one thing that has made me happy that I have found, I'm only 30 years old, so I'm still a young dude, but everyone knows this, but it needs to be reiterated. The only thing that has made me happy and feel fulfilled is human connection. And I know that sounds kind of wanky and but it is the reality of it, human connection has been the only thing that has really made me feel like warm, fulfilled, and be able to share the success that I have with the work stuff. It's the human connection. I can't tell you how many times I've had 10 or 20K days just looking at my Stripe balance, felt like an immediate rush, and then realized I've had no one to share it with. You stare at a screen and you're like, sick, who can appreciate this with me? Success, I think, is really only fun if you have somebody to share it with. And, one of the most important things I think that we need to understand when we're growing our business is that it's only gonna be fun and contribute to happiness if you have people to share it with. And I really don't think hustle culture promotes that. I think hustle culture promotes isolation and individualism. And then when you get to the end of it, honestly, let's face it, there's a lot of financial success that comes off the back of that. You end up coming to a place of being like, okay, I have this, but all of a sudden I've ignored all my friends, not prioritized a relationship, and I'm by myself, And then you end up going, you rely on the money to actually express your sense of worth to other people, right? You go on dates and you end up attracting people who really only kind of value you for your money. Hustle culture promotes, for example, not going out, not dating, not really, getting fucked up with your friends, and instead working late nights and being on the grind. And trust me, I've done that, but I'm telling you, once you hit that financial success and realize that you haven't invested in your friendships, it's pretty soul crushing. It's very isolating and it's not worth it. Now, I'm not making this video to be like, don't pursue financial goals. I'm making this video to say, pursue financial goals, but do so while also investing in the things that make those successes worthwhile, which is really human connection. I see so many young guys on Instagram and Twitter being like, I would never want to be at this club. I just want to be at work right now. And I'm like, that's fucking depressing. I get so much fulfillment, way more happiness from having beers with my friends on a Friday or Saturday night than I would when I'm working. Because what the fuck are we working for? You know what I mean? You're working all this time for what? To make more money? To see numbers go up? No, you're doing it to provide yourself with a life that you can be more present in with those human connections. I think people really misconstrue what the goal is here. And definitely in the hustle culture, it feels like the goal more often than not is actually not even to make money, it's just to work. And to me, that is super, super depressing, okay? We work to be able to have fulfilling human connections and to be able to provide for a family. Or maybe you don't want to have a family, but definitely to have a friendship circle that you can do things with without pressure and worry. That's why we work. We don't work for the sake of I'm just trying to make money. No, I'm not saying I don't get fulfilled by my work. I do get a sense of pride and a sense of achievement and accomplishment from my work, but I'm telling you, that is worth nothing, in my experience, if you don't have people to share it with, okay? You don't have to sacrifice everything for your business, okay? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to work hard or you shouldn't work hard. You should, but I'm saying you should work hard while being aware that the human connection element is just as important as actually working. Okay? I think actually more important. Here's the thing. In our space, the 18-hour work days, I didn't sleep, I just rammed a line of Adderall and worked 2 days is so glorified and so promoted that it becomes a substitute for, I think, really honestly a loss of male identity. We don't really have anything that we really identify around as men. And so we substitute that with just hustle culture and grind culture. I'm telling you right now, that's not the way to go. I've done shitloads of work. I've given up on weekends just to work. And I'm telling you now, I didn't need to do that to get to where I currently am. Most of the work hustle culture people promote is busy work, and it's not necessary, and it's performative. The reality is 80% of the results in whatever you're trying to do is in probably I think 20% of the work that you actually end up doing. And you just need to be fully aware of the work that you're actually doing, and when it starts creeping into your social life or actually just preventing you from having a social life, whether it be dating, whether it be connecting with friends, whether it be calling your parents, right? You have to be aware of when that's creeping in. And the moment it does, really ask yourself, first of all, the stuff that I am prioritizing over those social connections, actually something that's going to contribute to my business? Odds are it's probably not. And second of all, is it worth it? That's the big question. And I know like in this space, and a lot of people who are probably watching this video have been given so many messages that completely contradict what I'm saying, because hustle culture and the grind is so promoted in our space. It's like romanticized in a way that like I know from personal experience doesn't contribute to a fulfilling life. But that's just my take. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make these videos to document my own journey. I'm keen to hear your guys' thoughts. If you have any thoughts on this stuff, please chuck them down below. I'm down to be proven wrong, even though I know for a fact that I'm not, but chuck them down below. I would love to get into some lively debates about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, 2 videos every single week.